for the issues tonight. I'm not sure what was going on. Steam had some maintenance, some pretty big updates, so it's probably a good thing, especially if it's security oriented. Tonight we are going to play a game called Circles. So a couple cool things about this game. You can probably see from the screen. Let me just click over here so we can get some music going. There we go. Sound will be subtle in this game, but it's really interesting. So this is sort of a meditative puzzle game. That's how I would describe it to other people. I actually was just speaking with the dev who made the game, and I want to check his name on my phone while I'm talking to you, just to make sure I get it right. But it's Jeroen Wimmers. Jeroen is kind of a cool first name. But you can find him on Twitter, JeroenWimmers. He is behind this game, and although he wasn't able to join us tonight, he sort of had to go. He wasn't able to tune in because of the issues that we had. But we will be talking to him on GameDevCafe.com next week, which is kind of exciting. I came to discover this game as one of the judges for the IGF, the Independent Games Festival this year. So that was something I was invited to be a judge at, which was very exciting. And, you know, as someone who's kind of new to the games industry, I've been trying to experience as many games as possible, and this was definitely one of the ones that stood out to me. I really enjoyed it for a few reasons. It's simplistic, it's puzzle-driven, which I really enjoy, and it uses a lot of auditory cues, which, as you can probably already tell if you're listening to this stream, are sort of subtle and kind of interesting. They're jazzy is how I would describe them, but I don't really find that this game is necessarily musically oriented, even though there's a lot of sort of music-driven elements. I still think of it as sort of a visual puzzle game, which is interesting. It plays on a lot of different senses. When I judged this game, I judged it pretty favorably, I will say. I don't really know how it fared at the festival. They sort of announced a huge slew of winners, but I will find out. And by the time we interview the developer next week, we will certainly have that information for you guys. If you happen to be tuning in right now, again, our website is GameDevCafe.com. We are a website that looks at all the great people in the game dev community. We try to feature who they are, what they're making, and sort of why they're making it, so what makes them tick. You can find us on Twitter at the Game Dev Cafe, and again, tonight we're going to be playing Circles. Now, while I get a couple things set up, I will mention that we post these things on YouTube after we're finished, so just so you understand, if you don't happen to catch us while we're streaming here, you can always check it out later. And again, if you go to GameDevCafe.com, you can check out, all kinds of different games that we've played in the past. We've played some Nier Automata, Talos Principle, and what was the other one that we did recently? Oh yeah, Typo Man, which was kind of interesting. Another sort of puzzle game, but more wordplay driven. Whereas this one that we're looking at tonight, Circles, is sort of about simplistic shapes and. Well, yeah, we'll get into it. Again, we try to stream these things every Tuesday and Thursday from twitch.tv/GameDevCafe, so feel free to join us. My name is Karina. I'm the editor of our website, and I'm also the community developer over at Lightning Rod Games. This is sort of their sister site/side project. So let's take a look at Circles. Now, I rewound back to the first level. As you can see, it's sort of the top of the game screen. I actually like how they track the progress. You can see how far I've gotten through the game. Makes me feel good because it looks like I've gotten really far. But as you'll see from the game, it's not, it's not as sort of skill-based as you might imagine, but it's more about experimentation. So I really love, first off, how there's no real tutorial for this game. You just sort of dive right into it, and through your movement, through just experimenting with different routes and placements, I am using a mouse, not a controller, which is probably pretty obvious. It's very fluid. It's very easy to sort of move around and figure out where you're supposed to go. And you don't really make mistakes, you just either make your path more or less easy to progress through, which is kind of nice. It makes the game really relaxing. Move kind of slowly, so hopefully you can get a sense of how the screen is reacting to my movement, but my mouse movement is what's triggering most of what's happening on the screen, not vice versa. So although I can see, for example, right now the dot blinking at the bottom right, I only know the path as indicated by these other little blue dots, and as I move, slowly the pathway gets crowded out and it sort of tells me where to go. And as you see, if you make a mistake, it'll sort of redirect you. And it all has some cool little auditory sound that goes with it. It makes you feel like you're accomplishing something. I'd be very curious about how they designed sound for this game, because again, it's not exactly a musical track. It's more a whole bunch of different sounds that work together in kind of random formations, which is impressive. That's hard to do. The only frustrating thing about this game is you don't really know if you're doing well. There are points where it feels like you could randomly move your mouse all over the screen and it wouldn't even matter, but I know that that's not true. But I only know that's not true through auditory cues. Oh dear. Okay. That one was a pretty good example of how it guides you through to the path without you quite knowing where you're going. Those ones are really satisfactory, though, where you collect all the circles. So I'm eager to talk to the dev about what inspired this game, because it is different, and certainly not what what you would typically expect to see of a game. I wonder if if it was experimental in nature, if there was some deeper purpose to it. It certainly is beautiful, though. I really enjoy the way that it, I guess, uses music and shapes to explore a world that doesn't really exist. It's very abstract. I will say this game is a little difficult to describe. You sort of move your mouse in different circles, and that's how you play. I don't really understand how the game dynamic is being dictated exactly, but because it's non-linear, like you can't really tell what's going to come next and what's the sort of hierarchy of skills here, but you're definitely just moving circles around. That's what it is. And through different paths. It's really interesting. one's tricky. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. If you're tuning in late, sorry about the late stream, but we had a little bit of issues with Steam today. It was just getting updated. But we have the game now. We're all good. This level is just proving a little bit challenging. So I'm assuming that there's a way to enter. Maybe if I just force my way in. I'm pretty sure the game doesn't work that way. Alright, let's see here. To the speed. Oh, look at that. I think it's the speed of my movement. That's exciting. Okay. Okay, hold on. Maybe if I have to do this fast, this is tricky. I can't tell if it's actually what it is or not. Oh, I thought that did it. Oh, it did do it! Ah, that was really cool. Okay, so some of this is speed related. Oh, interesting. This one you have to go slow. Ah, cool. Alright, that's pretty clever. I like that. I think the speed, it's interesting. You wouldn't seem, it doesn't seem like speed is a good thing when you're using a mouse. So it's very non-intuitive at first, but once you figure it out, it's really rewarding. You feel like you've unlocked a mystery. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Slowly. And this one I bet is fast. Yay! Okay, cool. Oops. Ooh, this looks tricky because you can see the different layers of fast and slow. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, this game is so much cooler than I thought it was, and it's so simple at first, and you think, how could you elaborate on this idea? Like, good job. I can't wait to talk to the developer next week. Again, Jeroen... Uh-oh, I forgot his last name already. But we spoke with the developer on Twitter earlier today, so it's really exciting that we're going to get to talk to him at some point next week. We'll try to do a stream. Maybe we'll do an interview as we normally do, a get to know a game dev interview on GameDevCafe.com. Cool. There's a few people tuning in for the first time. Sam in particular, thanks for tuning in. I know Steven from Landing on Games is here as always, supporting my stream. Even though we work all day at the studio, it's sort of fun to check in. So just to reiterate again, we'll be talking to the developer of Circles, which is the game we're playing tonight, next week. I will try to set up an interview where we can actually see him live, but either way, his name is Jeroen Wimmers, and you can find him on Twitter under his full name. I will be sure to post this also at the Game Dev Cafe afterwards, so you guys can find him more easily. But in the meantime, I think... Looks like I only have 5 more levels to play, so let's try to beat this. Assuming that there's an end to this game, who knows? This might just be what I see so far. Let's see. I also like how the color schemes change up. It was sort of like blue and then gray, and now it's yellow, which gives me the impression that I'm heading towards a happy ending. Maybe that's presumptuous. Or something while you play this game. The way that you move your mouse around. It feels very elegant. it is. I wasn't fast enough. Let's put it that way. Okay. Maybe this way? Ah. I love how it just guides you along certain paths without you even really knowing it. Very precise with some of your mouse movements. That's sort of the trick to this game, I think. Oops. Oh. Okay, I'm not doing this level any cool justice. This is really awesome. So it's forcing me to spiral my mouse around, basically. Oh, yay! Look at all the extra levels there are! So exciting! Okay, I'm not really sure I'm supposed to, like, avoid stuff. I'm supposed to get all these things off the screen? I don't know. Well, I'm excited that it went on to a new level. That's cool. Even if I don't know what I'm supposed to do just yet. Okay. So I guess I have a whole new menu of puzzles to play with now. Very cool. I'm gonna have to see what comes next in this game, because I do want to save some of it to play with the developer, but it looks like I have a few more levels. Let's play a little bit more. I'll check out some more circles. Again, if you guys have any questions or anything about what I'm doing, feel free to pop it into the chat, or if you're watching this after the fact, you can always hit up at thegamedevcafe.com via Twitter, and we can talk to you there. I think we're going to see where this game goes for a few more levels. I just want to see if there's any different mechanics that they introduce. So we've looked at movement, and we looked at sort of how they block different areas. We looked at speed, and we looked at sort of the approach, almost the angle or this sort of direction of approach is affecting how the circles would merge together. So just want to play a little bit more and give us an idea. After that, I'm not sure we'll be playing other games tonight, but we definitely wanted to get back to Nier, because Nier Automata has been sort of a hankering of mine to get to. We're past the first save point, so if we don't make it to that tonight, then on Thursday night at, let's say, 8:30 p.m., we'll come back with Nier, and we'll look at some of the really cool new gameplay that I've discovered there. It hasn't been sort of too interesting so far because we've been getting to the first save point, but now that we're past it, I think we can look at where that game goes. But for now, let's take another look at circles. We've got a couple more levels to play here, and I will save the rest for when we talk to the developer of this game, hopefully next week on Game Dev Cafe at Twitch. So let's see where Circles takes us. Very cool. So it's very similar to the early levels, but much more finite in terms of the movement of the mouse, so it makes it a lot more challenging. I saw a couple more people turn into the Twitch stream, which is really awesome. We're sort of a very new channel. If you want to tell anyone what we're doing, again, my name's Karina. We're going to do this every Tuesday and Thursday night. And if you have a game that you think that we should feature, especially if it's a game that you made or a game that someone you know made, we're more than happy to take a look at it. Also, if you have a game that's just really expensive and you'd like us to check it out first, I wouldn't mind the excuse to sort of buy some really nice games that I just want to spend money on. So feel free to leave us a message. Definitely helps me justify what I'm doing. There's speed one. This one really seems tough. I'm not sure where to go. Interesting. This level's really hard. So I can see they inflate at different rates depending on how you approach. I can get through there, as you can see. If I move back, and I sort of move in with it. Okay, well, that's somewhere different. That one was really interesting. I don't even know how to describe how that one works, but hopefully you can see from what I was doing on screen. This little... It's very unique the way that you do the movements in this game. And everything has to do with time and sort of the aggression with which you move the mouse. So I'm very interested to ask the developer how some of this works. Certainly different from any game I've ever played, but it's really quite fun, and I'm playing on a mouse, and I wonder how this would work if you translated it to a controller or something with movement. It might be really interesting to like control this somehow with your hands and gestures. It would be really interesting to sort of guide energies, for lack of a better word, around, sort of like how the circles are being guided here. Based on distance traveled. Sorry, I'm just catching up to the chat as we go, but you guys are absolutely right. That's what's happening. It might be easier to understand what's happening when you're not just randomly, frantically pushing your mouse around, because you kind of get panicked in this game when you can't figure it out easily. It seems like it should be really obvious, and it's really not, but luckily there's a base backing you up, so it makes you sound like you know what you're doing, or at least look cool, arguably. This one, if you move fast enough, you can get to the center. Cool. I don't know if I can move my mouse straight enough to do this. Just sort of swipe it through, works. Make sure you don't have anything obstructing your mouse pad when you play this game. Woohoo! There we go. Looks so nice when it all kind of comes together like that. I'm sure I'm not doing this right. I'm like jerking it back and forth and trying to get there quickly. Maybe. Oops, hold on. I don't think I'm approaching this one correctly. One sec here. suggestions, guys? So this seems to be vertically driven. I don't know what else to call it. No, any movement kind of makes it spin back and forth. Very tricky, this level. I'm not sure how to do this one. So I move fast. They kind of expand and take over the whole circle. Oops. Okay, I see the gray thing pulsing. I see that. Maybe it's a timing thing. Oops. Let me just adjust my mouse pad, which is going all over the place here, because I'm trying to figure this out. This might be the level that stops me tonight. Let's see. Counterclockwise loop underneath and up. Alright, let's try this. Counterclockwise loop underneath and up. Oops, hold on, let me try that again. That seemed promising. Still have overlap there. I see it pulsing. So close. I thought I did it for a second. Ah, too bad. Okay. Let's see. Oh, hey, one of the returning viewers, Wolful Count, has just turned in. Hey, if you want to help me with this puzzle, feel free. So basically, speed definitely has an impact, like I'm moving it quickly and slowly. But both sort of impact how quickly the circles move. Neither of them really appear to allow me to get to the circle. Sometimes you do have to like spiral. Oops, so like a figure eight isn't the worst idea. Circle when it is smaller. Okay, let's try that. Was that Steven? Steven, you're a genius. Good call. That worked. I'm glad I stuck to it too. So, this game is a little bit frustrating at times, but it definitely feels like you can figure it out. Like it feels like you're on the cusp of the answer. And of course, streaming to a bunch of people who can help you figure it out helps. Alright, let's do just a little bit more, and then I'll save the rest for when we talk to Drowan next week, who's the person who made this lovely game. Oops. Oops. Okay, so basically these shrink and sort of grow at different rates. And I think your objective is to try and ride the circles as they fluctuate to some degree. So now they're sort of combining like an exterior pulsating circle with your speed as a way to reach the circle that you're trying to get to. Very cool, very complicated. So I'll say this is one of my favorite games that I got to judge for IGF this year. I think it doesn't matter if I tell anybody that now. We're allowed to sort of disclose what our judging was now that the competition's long over. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and it obviously stood out. Has been circles, and it's really been quite an interesting game to play. I do love the music, it's so chill. Sure, if I choose light, so I can get in closer. There we go. Just a little bit of timing issue. Have to go counterclockwise to position it, and then I believe go clockwise to get it in. Recurse is a good game to maybe try here. But yeah, I do enjoy puzzle games. This one's got a little bit of everything. It's sort of like weird and different and certainly a puzzle, but I think the simplicity belies the complexity a little bit, which is great. You wouldn't expect it to be quite as challenging as it is, but it's really interesting. I love games like that. Oops. This is a very soothing game, even though it's not the easiest game I've ever played, which is really enjoyable. Oops. Level here. Oh, and hopefully I can do a better job than the last time I had to do a spiral one. Or not. Yeah. I don't know how I'm supposed to get out of that. Get real. Kind of reminds me of the Looney Tunes ending. That's all, folks. So, this has been Circles, and we're going to be talking to the game dev that made this game, hopefully sometime in the very near future, if not this week, then next week. And I guess if you have any other questions about this game, or for me, Karina, you can hit me up at the Game Dev Cafe. That's our handle on Twitter. You can visit gamedevcafe.com for a look at other game issues, game discussions, and game devs that we've talked to. And I hope to see you guys on Thursday night when we're going to come back and we're going to look at Nier, which is a game that we first started streaming last week, and now that I've hit the first save point, we're into some more exciting content, so we can look at that beautiful game together again. But this has been Circles, a really cool game, meditative puzzle game, something definitely a little bit different. We'll test your mouse skills if nothing else, and we'll have some more about this game when we talk to the developer this week at gamedevcafe.com. In the meantime, again, my name's Karina. Thanks for checking us out, and hope to see you guys on Thursday. Bye.